in the ongoing talks. Joining us now is Republican Senator Bill Hagerty of Tennessee, serves on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, the perfect guest to talk to us about this. Yeah. Sir, when the president said that he is disappointed in Iran in the current round of the negotiations, is that a sincere expression, or is it a strategic play to try and kind of keep them on their feet?
Well, I think it's both. If you think about it, we would not be in this position had we stayed with the maximum pressure campaign that President Trump put in place in the first administration. When I was ambassador to Japan, that was part of my role to get the Japanese to stop buying Iranian crude. We did that all over the world. We brought Iranian reserves down to almost nothing. The pressure was enormous on them. They were ready to deal. Joe Biden comes into office, immediately relaxes all of the sanctions. Money starts flowing back to Iran. Terror starts flowing in the region. Iran is the heart of all of the terror that's happening in the Middle East right now. And this is their tactic. They go back to obfuscating, trying to kick the can down the road, drawing out time. President Trump has dealt with them. He understands this. And I'm certain he's disappointed with it, but he also strategically needs to bring them back to the table, and they need to understand, Iran needs to understand, we will not tolerate their behavior. We're not going to tolerate their funding of terrorism, and they will not have a nuclear weapon.
We have seen the same kind of negotiating going on in stages, fits and starts, threats of U.S. financial sanctions against the regime. What is the core, or put it this way, what is the biggest primary difference or differences between this negotiation, this deal that President Trump hopes to get, and the deal that former President Obama had in place?
Well, if you think about what's happened since that time, the Bidens allowed a lot more money to flow into Iran. Iran has advanced the ball much further in terms of their enrichment capabilities. That would have never happened had President Trump stayed in office. But again, the overarching objective is to stop Iran and stop this regime from funding terror, and also do not allow them to get in a position to threaten the rest of the world with nuclear competence. That means they're not going to get a nuclear weapon. So the terms broadly are the same. The conditions are quite different, though, and they're much worse thanks to the Biden administrations that stepped in, and they were made difficult for President Trump the first time with the pallets of cash that Obama gave them, even though the Iranians never abided by the original negotiation, the original deal that they struck as well.
I want to make sure I ask you about China while I have you with us, sir. Take a look at this, some of the statistics about Chinese nationals being removed from the United States so far this year, as well as the threat that some of these folks are posing to Americans essentially sent here by the Communist Party. When you look at this sort of multi-front threat that the Chinese government now poses to the United States, with these agro-terrorists that are trying to come into the country, land purchases at or right next to military bases, spying goes on, you know, TikTok list, we could, you know, list these challenges for the rest of the hour. But what do you, what do you make of this? It certainly seems like it's a new elevated threat.
Well, again, this threat wouldn't exist had Joe Biden not collapsed our southern border. These people are here illegally in the first place. The many that have been deported now recently were here illegally, coming from China, coming from all over the world, many without our best interests at heart. The other piece of this, though, and let's not forget what China has done on fentanyl as well, the precursors that continue to flow into this country. They're waging war on us in multiple ways. This agro-terrorism is a part of a biotechnology effort that China has going on, that the CCP has going on. I've fought hard here with my Biosecure Act to prevent U.S. funds from supporting biotechnology research that would happen here with Chinese equipment. We don't want them to have access to our DNA data, certainly our genomic data. They're trying at every front to gain advantage, and this agro-terrorism was deeply, deeply concerning. If that had happened, if we'd not caught that, who knows what might have happened to our crops? It would have been devastating. So we need to be much more diligent at every level. President Trump's certainly trying to do that, and by making certain that these Chinese nationals, as well as many others that are here illegally that may not have our best interests at heart, sending them back out of the country is the right move.
And real quick before I let you go, sir, the president says he has a deal done now, a tariff deal in place. Do you know what's in it?
I don't, and the last thing I would do is get ahead of that, given the importance of the negotiations and the fact that it needs to be delivered in a way that's implementable. But his team has been working around the clock. with Scott Besson over the weekend when he was in London. Jameson Greer, I know, has been working diligently to try to bring everything together, and President Trump is very focused on this. I think the market's going to be very receptive to this in a positive way, and I look forward to seeing greater progress as we inch toward the early July deadline that's been set.
All right, Senator, of course, a key voice on all of these issues. We appreciate you taking time for us today.
Thank you so much.
sir.
Good to be with you.